Most people aren't poor because of one bad decision they've made. They're poor because of bad money habits that they constantly do throughout their life. I'm going to give you 5 terrible money habits that you are probably doing that are keeping you poor and how to avoid doing these terrible habits. The first bad money habit that a lot of people have is what I call lifestyle inflation. It's where you get a pay rise at your job, or you come across some more money, you invest a little bit, and your income grows. What else grows? Your spending. This is the make more and spend more problem. Everybody has it. You get a raise from your job, an extra 30K a year, you buy that new car, you buy the new TVs, you buy the new electronics, you get into debt, your rent goes up because you go to a new place, and all of a sudden you're working harder, making more money, but you're still in the same boat as you were before. It's the inflation of your lifestyle with the inflation of your money. It doesn't work. And so many people do it. You get a bit more cash that week, you spend a bit more cash that week, whether it be on takeout or whether it be on clothing, whether you want to go for a night out. You need to cut this out. You need to continue your way of lifestyle as your money comes up. You want to cap your lifestyle, cap your expenses. Live below your means. That's the whole thing. Everybody always says it. Live below your means and you will get successful. But nobody listens. Everybody always says, yeah, I will. And then when they make more money, they spend more money. It doesn't add up. You need to live below your means. The more money you make, the more you should have to invest in your future. Continue to act poor when you are making more money, because rich people increase their assets with more money. Poor people increase their expenses with more money. It's something to think about. The second bad habit that a lot of you have is financing and stupid debt. I'm talking credit cards, I'm talking zip money, I'm talking afterpay, I'm talking pay in full bullshit. Stop it. I know it seems good, but unless you actually have the money to pay for these things, you shouldn't be utilizing these pay in full or pay as you go bullshit. It's leading you into a trap. You're going to be constantly having things to pay off, and then whenever you make more money, it's going to go into paying these big corporations. You are just getting into more debt, interest put on, and then if you have missed payments, the late fees come piling in. This is a perfect way to stay poor if you're using these stupid apps and payment plans. You got to stop using these. You need to go back to the old way of, if I want something, I'm going to save for it. It might take you longer to get that thing, but at least you're paying for it outright and you have no interest hanging over your head, no debt hanging over your head. You pay it all off in one go and it's yours and nothing else happens from there. You might pay 4 payments for that couch that you brought, but it's 4 payments that if you miss some of those payments, they're going to add on fees, you're going to have interest fees. It's a great way to stay behind. Like Jay-Z says, if you can't afford to buy it twice, you can't afford to buy it once. Make sure you save and buy things outright. Easy. The third bad habit is a lot of you don't know how to budget, or you don't budget at all, and you never track your expenses. This one will get you, because a lot of times if you actually sit down and track what your money goes on, there's a lot of stupid shit that your money will just be floating away and disappearing on. You need to make sure you know these things. What weird subscriptions do you have on your phone over the last 2 years that you probably never use? Things like that. What's the amount you're spending on takeout every week? On stupid little snacks and treats every week? How often are you blowing money without knowing you're just wasting it away? You need to begin tracking your expenses and have a budget in place so that you know where your money's going and what's left over. Because a lot of the time you could have a decent chunk of money left over if you just tracked your expenses and said, oh, I don't really need to go eat McDonald's 3 times a week. I don't really need to go to the movies on the weekend. These are expenses that just take away your money and you're not tracking them, and you just think, where's all this money gone? Sit down, write down everything you spend your money on. Start this week. What you want to do, budget. Sit down, write a budget. You want allocate enough for food, allocate enough for bills, for rent, for savings, and then sit down and track everything you spend from that week onwards. Every dollar that leaves your account, write down where it went. You'll be so surprised at the stupid things you waste money on. Get rid of your old phone subscriptions. Get rid of subscriptions on your phone you don't use that are just taking money monthly. Sometimes you miss the payments and they even add more on. So you need to track where your money is going. A lot of times you might think, I swear I've only spent like $200 this month on takeout, and then you look at your statements and it's more like $800 on takeout. These things creep up and they sneak up on you and they surprise you like that. So you need to make sure you know where your money's going, because if you're the leader of your household, you need to know where your expenses are. You need to know where your money's going in order to plan for the future. You're just wasting away your money. It's not good. That is a very bad habit. And this brings me to the fourth terrible habit. You're scared to invest. You're always waiting to invest your money. You have this imaginary figure in your mind of when you will start investing your money. There's no time like the present. You are wasting precious time of compounding interest waiting until you have an imaginary number to start investing. It doesn't work like that, because if you get in early, there's compounding interest. So if you can invest every spare dollar that you have and make over the course of time, that's going to grow hugely. And if you're always adding to it, it's always growing. If you wait for so many years for an imaginary number in your head to invest, then you have to wait another certain amount of years after that to get the payoff. Doesn't make any sense. Why not just start investing now? Whatever scraps of money you have, $30, $50, $80, $100, just start investing each week, each month, and it'll grow crazily. If you're 20 years old and you invest $100 a month into some S&P 500, by the time you retire, you're going to have like $400,000 in that account. $400,000 for you, just off $100 a month. You need to start investing early. Start investing now. Do some research on what you can invest in and start investing whatever scraps you make left over into something for the future. You are defeating the purpose of investing by waiting all these years to invest. The purpose of investing is to chip away at it, is to get compounding interest. You're building that account, you're building that amount of money up through all of that, compiling up and up and up. Every time you add more money on, you're getting more return back. It's compounding interest, it's growing every fucking year. If you wait for 50 years to put 50,000 in, then you're gonna have to wait 50 years to make $1 million. It doesn't make sense to do that. If you're blowing $20 a day on snacks, put that $20 into an S&P 500. You'll be shocked. That's like $7 grand a year. And this brings me to the last terrible habit. This habit plays off the investing habit. You need to be able to invest in yourself. Simply put, you need to take risk and invest in yourself above all else. This is a very bad habit people have, is they don't mind spending $1,000 on bullshit, shoes, clothes, holidays, food, but they won't put $1,000 into learning how to make money or learning how to invest, or they won't back themselves by buying a trading course or reading books. You will waste your money, time, and energy on stupid things, and you won't take the risk of losing a bit of money to gain knowledge. This is the number one bad habit, and this is the one you really need to think about and you really need to change as fast as you can, because this is the difference between making it and not making it. You need to invest in yourself. You need to back yourself. You need to spend money on learning how to make money. Sure, there's a lot of free advice out there on the internet, but there's also a lot of amazing courses and things you can pay for that'll teach you unworldly amounts of knowledge on how to make money, even about money. You have this fear of losing a larger amount of money straight away. You had that fear like, oh, I don't want to spend $2,000. What if I don't even learn enough to make money? But then if you think about it, you're spending $2,000 over a period of a few months on some shoes and some clothes and some food and some nights out on the town. And you've literally spent that $2,000 and you haven't learned anything, and you've just made your life worse. So why not take the risk and spend that $2,000 on the potential to be able to make hundreds of thousands of dollars? This is where rich people flourish. They don't care. They will spend their money learning things to make more money. It's a risk you need to take. It takes money to make money, baby. And that's how it works. Because you might think it's a risk to spend that money, but the biggest risk is not taking the risk. The biggest risk is not investing in yourself to learn how to make money. And then all of a sudden you're 40 years old with no money. That's the biggest risk. You need to make that change. So yeah, most of you don't need more money, you need fewer bad habits. And those are the main habits that you need to break now. If you can cut these habits out, you can watch your life change completely for the better. So if you found benefits in this video, hit subscribe. And if you want more in-depth information about all of these sort of things, subscribe to my mailing list, sending emails out every week for free, filled with knowledge. Stay cool, have a good one.